I've been to BlizzCon 9 times now. And the previous 8 times I went as general admission, and that's great, had a lot of fun. But I've always wanted to go with a media pass. And for those of you who don't know what a media pass is, basically Blizzard will hand out certain special passes for free to BlizzCon to people who are going to be making some content about the convention. And I've always wanted to bring my film equipment there and start filming stuff and make a whole bunch of content, and this year, I finally got to do it. So before we go into all the events of what happened during BlizzCon, I do want to give a big shout out first to Bajheera for putting in the submission for us to get our media passes. And also a big shout out to Blizzard itself for saying, yes, we do want you guys to come to film some content and just have a really good time. So I guess I'll start with telling you guys how everything goes with day 0 and then kind of transitioning into my whole journey with being on a media pass at BlizzCon. Day 0 started off with my buddy Jay, who was my assistant at the convention, and he was so useful. Anyways, we started driving out to California. It took us about 6 hours, and we got to the Embassy Suites. It was a great stay there, love it, and I'm gonna be staying there again in the future. So after Jay and I got to the hotel, we did walk down to the convention center and went over to where we pick up our media passes. We got our green bands, which are really cool that say media on there, so I'm definitely going to hold on to this probably for forever. And got our backpacks, which they were handing out to everybody at the convention. After that, we went back to the hotel, waited for Bajheera to get to his place over at the Hilton, and then I went to pick him up so I could drop him off at an influencer mixer that they were having off-site. On the way over there, we just talked about, whatever, World of Warcraft, the convention, our plan to film this thing and what we wanted to do. So once I dropped him off, Jay and I got some dinner, celebrated the day because it was actually my birthday. Later, I picked up Bajheera, dropped him off at the Hilton, and then we got some rest to get ready for the big day, which is day 1. So Jay and I were pretty excited. We even had our shirts that said film crew on it and everything. It looked really professional. I'm really glad that I went that route of making those t-shirts. We met up with Bajheera and we started filming, and we got all the way through the crowds and got early access into the convention with our media passes, and immediately he was going to go stream the opening ceremonies. That's when I found out that my audio was not set up correctly. So all of that footage that I filmed had this high squeal sound to it. Basically, you're bound to have some kind of technical issue. It just happened this way. It's unfortunate, but lesson learned. So I filmed Bajheera streaming. I had 2 different camera angles so we could flip-flop back and forth from his stream camera to my camera. And that video is out on Bajheera's channel if you guys want to go check it out. After that, we took a little bit of a break, went back, and I was able to dump a lot of the footage on my computer. Then in the afternoon, we went back to the convention where Bajheera had the meet and greet opportunity with all the fans and everything like that. And that was a lot of fun because we got to see a lot of people who were in the chat and they were meeting Bajheera, some for the first time, which is really cool. And that lasted for a few hours because there were a lot of people that wanted to meet Bajheera. My arms were getting really tired holding on to all of this equipment, and I think I came pretty prepared, but I was getting pretty worn out. Later that night, we started walking down the convention and doing some filming, just checking out the convention halls and seeing what they had to offer. And surprisingly, BlizzCon ended earlier than normal. They closed down the showroom at like 7:30. So that was a good time for us to go back to the hotel. I could get some editing done, and then we could call it a day and get ready for day 2. Now, day 2 was a special day because Bajheera's family was coming. We were going to have Jenny there. I was going to meet Archer for the first time. It was pretty cool. The only problem, though, is that they didn't really plan out a really good way for people with media passes to enter the convention. We had to walk all the way around Catella and come in through this entry point up top, and it was really inconvenient. It felt like we were walking a mile just to get into the convention when there were plenty of other access points that they could have stationed up to be a lot easier and more convenient for us, especially those people who are carrying like 50 pounds worth of gear like me. Regardless, we got into the convention center, and this is where the cool stuff really started happening, and you could see the benefits of having a media pass. We went all the way upstairs and we went into the media area where they had this one room that had all these tables that everyone could pull out their laptops and work on editing content or getting information out to their companies, or if they were freelance, they could start editing right away. And also they had boxes and boxes of lunches that were just ready for people if they got hungry. I've never seen Blizzard provide food for people at BlizzCon. I mean, general admission, obviously, you have to go buy your own food, but for media, I thought that was really nice of them to do. Because we're working, we're having fun, but we're there to work. The cool part is on the other side was the media room, and this is the coolest thing ever. Guys, so something I wanted to show you that's really cool about having a media pass is that you get the media room. So here's every single game that they have on the show floor, except there's no line. So we get to go and try all the new stuff. I can't show anything, There's strict rules for that, but I'm going to go ahead and play World of Warcraft, the Season of Discovery, all that stuff. I'm going to give it a shot, kind of chill out. We're done filming for the event, so time to enjoy what we can at BlizzCon, and going to be pretty exciting, so let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, so basically what we had were computers that we could access. They were the same computers as down in the show floor, and we didn't have to wait in line. We could just play all the games, and it was really, really convenient. The only problem is, like, World of Warcraft Season of Discovery we couldn't really do because you need a 10-man raid, and there weren't 10 people in there, so oh well. After that, we met up with a couple of people. We had some fans come up and talk to Bajheera. And then we made our way over to the Blizzard store and checked out what they had to offer. And then from there, we called it a day for filming in the morning. And that's basically where we ended our filming experience at BlizzCon, because Bajheera was going to head home with Jenny and Archer. Archer's 4.5, you know, he can only take so much. But Jay and I really weren't done experiencing BlizzCon 100% yet. That night, we got to go back and spend the last 2 hours for just some free time to roam the halls and kind of check out and see what everyone's been doing. I think my favorite area was in the Diablo section, where they had this library and they were obviously selling stuff, but it was really, really cool. The one thing that did catch my eye was the new book that has come out for World of Warcraft. And if you guys have been following this channel for a while, you know that I have basically sworn off World of Warcraft lore and everything like that. But I couldn't help but pick up the book. So this book is War of the Scaleborn, and it's pretty much about the Dragonflight aspects after they've defeated Galakrond, and Tyr has given them their powers, and then talking about the Primal Dragon, saying, why do we need that? So far, it's really, really good. So yeah, it sparked my interest a little bit. I picked up the book, but I didn't pick it up there at BlizzCon. I did order it on Amazon. It was a little cheaper. The other thing that caught my eye, which I'm not going to sink my money into, is that Upper Deck... Topper Deck, what is it called? Upper Deck? They make baseball cards. Yeah, that's it. So Upper Deck, which they make baseball cards and collectible cards and all that stuff, they've now come out with a Blizzard series of collectible cards. Straight up money sink. I'm not going to get into that, but they look really cool. So I had a talk with the project manager. I can't remember her name, but she was really, really nice to explain everything to me and how people were just freaking out about these things over at the con throughout the last 2 days. And they had special series cards that are really rare, and it looks really cool, but something that it could be really dangerous, and I'm not going to open my wallet to that. So where did we go from here? The con was about to close. I walked around for a little bit longer, and I really started thinking about where Blizzard was going with all of this, because the announcements that we heard on day one were pretty epic. And not just epic, not just like, oh man, that was so cool, what a cool cinematic and everything, but kind of hits you right in the feels. The best way I can explain how I'm feeling is to kind of reach back to this guy right here. So if you guys know who Preach is, he makes a lot of World of Warcraft content, and when Blizzard was on its downward spiral, he swore off World of Warcraft, saying, I'm done making World of Warcraft content, that's it. And I 100% respected him for that until he decided to come back. It felt like that video that he put out there saying I'm done was just to kind of spark the views, but at the same time, I did the same thing. I swore off World of Warcraft lore, saying I'm never going to cover this stuff again because I'm so sick and tired of it. So I really can't say anything bad about what Preach did. He was pissed off at the time, but he knew that he had a deep passion for World of Warcraft and that the possibility of coming back to make more content was definitely there. So as I walked around the convention and looked around at everything, I realized I love this stuff. This is the world of gaming that I absolutely adore. I love World of Warcraft. It's my favorite game of all time. And I miss making content on a regular basis about something that I generally have a passion for. I may have gotten burned out in the past, but I think it's always been there, just kind of hidden, taking a rest or hibernating for a while. And a big part of me with this spark of, bringing back the idea of doing Tales of Azeroth again is because Chris Metzen came back. I'm a big supporter of Metzen and the stuff that he writes and all of his ideas. And I feel like he's going to push World of Warcraft in the correct direction. And because of that, I feel like there's going to be stories that are going to be written that actually mean something. So I want to bring back Tales of Azeroth. I think I want to change the format a little bit, maybe cover areas of quests, maybe cover some deep lore, but not do it the way we were doing it in the past. Every quest is the same. There's a handful of objectives that you can kind of flip-flop between all these quests. Go kill 10 of these, go collect 10 of those, go talk to this person, that person, and that person, then come back and talk to me. They're all the same, the context is just different. But I feel like we could simplify it a little bit more and maybe even talk about some deeper lore things that go into the expansions. And especially since we're starting the World Soul Saga, that's huge, and we could cover the whole storyline as we go through this 3 expansion adventure. So guys, I'm going to bring back some lore videos, and I do want to do it on a consistent basis. I just need to get in the right mindset and start driving myself to do it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So BlizzCon was a blast, and next year we're probably going to do the same thing. If you guys ever get a chance to go to BlizzCon, I highly recommend it. So if you're still here watching this, then thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. And if you like this kind of content, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel and give it a big thumbs up. And having said that, guys, it's really good to be back, and it feels fantastic to kind of jump back into what I'm really passionate about and have that fire spark. And with that, I'll see you guys in the future when we find out what happens in the Tales of Azeroth.